Hey guys, it's Katie Ribant, and I'm just going to go over the items in my OT toolkit. To start off, we have a ball. It's textured, it has spikes on it, it also lights up when you hit it. This can be used for sensory input, tactily, visually. You can use it to roll it or throw it, work on some visual tracking. It could be used just as a motivator too. A lot of kids would want to play with this, so you could say if you work on something that they might not really want to do, then that they get a couple minutes to play with this ball. You could have them bounce it, work on gross motor, fine motor, stuff like that. Next up, I have some Play-Doh. You could also use Theraputty depending on your client's age and their needs. This is great also for sensory. It's really motivating for kids to play with. Works on hand strength. You can work on grip, making it into a ball, rolling it into cylinders. You could use scissors to cut it if you need to work on cutting. It's a little bit easier than working with paper. Also, pushing it down to flatten it. You could write in it if you're working on handwriting, that kind of stuff. And also I have another item that goes with it a little bit later that I'll discuss. So the rest of my things are just pictures. So first up we have these clips. They're like chip clips. You could find them pretty much anywhere. I picked these ones because they have monsters on it, so they're a little more motivating. These are good when you're working on the pincer grasp and hand strength and grip strength. You can use these to pick up small items. You can use them with Play-Doh, anything really that would need a gripper. It's also good for fine motor control. You could do bilateral integration if you're using two at a time, crossing midline, if you're having them reach across something to pick up a small item with their clip. Next we have, these are like small flattened marbles. You could also just use regular marbles. These are what I was referring to earlier. You could use these in the Play-Doh or Theraputty and hide them in there and have the kids work on getting them out. This is good for fine motor control, grip strength, hand strength. Again, using that pincer grasp to pull things out. They could work bilaterally. It's, also, you could have them reach across midline as well if they're putting these into a bucket or something when they're getting them out. Next, I have these little puff balls. They're colorful ones, so they're a little more motivating for the kid. You could have them use the chip clips to pick these up and put them into different containers. You can have them organize them or create a pattern given a model, which would work on visual motor and patterning. A study by Danker in 2003 states that visual motor skills are important for a developing child learning school skills like writing. So that's one of the reasons I chose these. They're also good for, like I said, creating a pattern or visual perceptual and visual motor skills. And then, can't really see these that well, but these are, let me turn down my brightness. These are just little yoga poses I think are great to have visual representation. So you could have little cards with these on it. So if a kid is feeling overwhelmed or underwhelmed, you could use these to get them more regulated. So you could have different little pictures of these and the kids would look at them and try to interpret it and create the pose on their own to get some self-regulation going. Yoga ball is always good to have. You can work on a lot of gross motor activities with these. You can do kicking or back bends over it, a lot of ab work to work on postural control. Bubbles are another great one for the visual tracking and visual motor skills that I discussed earlier from that study and how these are important for developing kids. You can have them blow the bubbles, track them, and pop them with their finger. Try to use different body parts. These are really great for those type of things, but also for oral motor skills for blowing the bubbles themselves. Next, I have TheraBand, which is great to have on hand in case you need it to modify a child's chair. If they have dangling feet, you can always wrap this around the chair legs so they have something to rest their legs on. You can always use it for exercise and strengthening depending on the child's age and needs. You could even use it on the floor if you want to create some sort of line for jumping or doing jumping jacks or some gross motor activities. Duct tape is another great thing to have on hand to fix things, adapt things. Also, like at fieldwork, we have a really great obstacle course that is created through putting the duct tape on the ground. We have hopscotch, balance beam, cues for doing jumping jacks and other gross motor activities. A study by K. Smith in 2000 states that engaging a child in preparatory activities that promote vestibular and proprioceptive input supports postural stability and assists in self-regulation, which is how we use it in fieldwork, where we make them do the obstacle course with the duct tape to get them started, get them regulated so they're ready to work on more fine motor skills. Lastly, stickers are always a great motivator and can be used as a reward. Also, it's really tough for kiddos to use their fine motor to get the sticker off the page, so even though it can be used as a reward, it's also still working on that fine motor and working bilaterally to peel the sticker off of the page. Oh, one more. And also, I really like these dominoes. They have pictures on them instead of the little dots, so that you can use visual motor skills, visual perceptual, and OT could create a model and then the student would have to repeat it, or visual tracking, visual scanning to find the correct pieces to put them all together. And that's it. Thank you.